We are finally on Titan builds, and today I have a very known build for you guys. So if someone in the comment section trying to Twitter away, hey, this build, oh, that we know, okay, this is for people that don't know. Okay, there's people that don't know, people that are not in the know. Okay, there are a lot of new players playing Destiny for its last hurrah, so I want to make sure I get every build out there that is known for people to use. And of course, some that I made on my own, but if there's a great build out there, I'm going to showcase it for those people, for the new people, okay? If you're a Titan main and you don't know this build somehow, you're sleeping under the Patrick Rock or something, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you, okay? So, in today's build, as y'all can see in the gameplay footage, it dog walks -50 light blade. This build can literally carry you through anything, okay? If you ever feel like you can't beat something, just pull the build out and boom, you beat it, okay? That is one of those builds, okay? It's one of those builds. Today, we are using Stasis Titan with the exotic Worm God Caress, okay? Worm God Caress exotic perk says, defeating a target with a melee or finisher grants escalating melee damage, which decays over time. Higher level of Burning Fist grant increased weapon damage. So this increases your weapon damage and your melee damage. And I'll put the max output on the screen so you guys know how deadly this really is, okay? One of the best exotics in the game. The armor stats you want to run is 100 melee, 160 super, so we're gonna be using font mods to get 200 super, and as much weapon stats as possible, just so that your weapons do even more damage in this build when you do shoot it against enemies and whatnot. Okay, that's all you need. You don't need no class stat, you don't need any health stat, and your grenade stat, you can throw some fonts in your RMPs, but you don't need a grenade either. Grenade is just there for that last resort if you need to get some more stasis shards out there to get your melee back. But other than that, just 100 melee, 160 super. The weapon stat is just there just for some extra damage when you shoot with your weapons. But you're rarely going to be shooting your weapon, okay? You're really going to be using your weapon for damage. It's the melee that's doing the real damage here. The armor set we're using, Exodus down, because it's so easy to get armor charges in this build, so you can always finish or move somebody, not only to get a stack of Worm God Caress, but to make special ammo. So you might as well just lean more into the unkillable fantasy, so get that extra 30% damage resistance. Don't worry, I know the Sorov set exists. I have a separate stasis build for that, okay? That is more lethal than this build, but not as survival, you know, as immortal as this build. This build has immortality and lethality. So, yeah, but the other build gonna have a little bit more lethality, just less immortality. But we'll get to that when that build is for tomorrow, okay? But that's what we're using for the armor sets and armor stats. These are the armor bonus I went for, which is Skirmisher and Paragon. In case you're wondering, how did I get to these stats? Okay. Weapon we're using is Fighting Lion. I know some of you guys probably don't know this exotic. I actually have a great connection to this exotic, because back then, in order to get the mountaintop when it was in its peak heyday, you had to get grenade launcher kills in Crucible, and I was running triple grenade launcher build, and I had became a pro with Fighting Lion. But yeah, we'll be using this in today's build to do damage to the enemies, to shatter our crystals easier, and it has great synergy with the artifact we are using to make our crystals do even more damage. So very important here in this build. Oh, my bad, almost knocked my keyboard over. Good, important for this build, and yeah, it's a infinite ammo, you know, primary weapon grenade launcher, so you'll never be worried about will you have ammo for this. We're running Oster Engine, which this is the new Stasis Error Denial Grenade Launcher. Highly recommend. Get auto loading holster and Chaos Reshape for this, and put on Stun Loader in this. But yeah, highly recommend this for this build as well. And then our heavy is Refurbished to deal with barrier champions, you know, when we got to deal with them. Artifact, we are using Slayer Baron. I know this is different. He's like, we used to Tablet Ruin. I know, but that's, you know, something different today. We are using Brain Freeze, because this makes it that if we freeze targets, we always gonna be doing, they put a slow AoE around them so that other enemies get frozen or slow near them. We have on Kinetic Impact. This is very important. Sustained damage with a grenade launcher increases the reload speed of grenade launchers and trigger a kinetic shockwave. So if I shoot the Error Denial grenade launcher, as this robot. We're doing sustained damage, and boom, they go to kinetic explosion. Okay, that will, I'm about to say trigger twice, and that will destroy the crystals that we make when we do our combo with the gameplay loop, which is just us sliding and pressing the melee button. If I shoot this at the enemy, boom, and if there's any crystal left over, the kinetic shockwave will break it in case I end up missing my shot or something like that, right? But it's just extra DPS, basically. Extra DPS. This is the main bread and butter in this artifact that make this artifact broken for stasis, and that is curative orbs. It said the first time you break a target shield or break the shield of a guardian, you make an orb power. That ain't the part you care about. The part you care about is the second part. It said collecting an elemental pickup, collecting an orb power, or destroying a tangle grants you a small amount of health. I believe it's 40 HP. The reason why they're broken on stasis is because stasis have no cooldown when it comes to making stasis shards, just like ionic traces. So you can make a bunch of stasis crystals coming to you non-stop, making that you're unkillable with the damage resistance you already get from frost armor, so that you live forever. So that's the reason this artifact is broken for stasis. Everything else really does not matter. This is the only artifact perk that really matters. We have on weakened clear. This is so that our grenade launcher weaken bosses, champions, or break combatant shield. Reloads our stole weapon, so we don't have to worry about reloading. And like I said, it weakens the enemy. So this makes it that our melees do 15% more damage to bosses and champion stuff, allowing us to kill them with ease. So that's why I use a fighting line and area denial, because then when we fighting against a boss, we can just shoot at them all day and make them take some big damage from the melees. We got on Hailstorm just to make it that shattering the crystal do more damage. That's basically it, and then we can slow other people in the room with it. Not very important. You can replace this with like Frost Renewal, but you don't even need Frost Renewal. You're gonna have freaking Frost armor up all day, and you rarely ever gonna have a moment where your health going red. So it's very trivial. You could change this to whatever you want in this middle slot. These just the things that are there. Okay. Total Carnage. This makes that when you do a finisher move on a powerful combatant. So anybody that's not a red name, you will get full health back, and you get 25% damage reduction. So very busted artifact perk in hard to end content when you finishing moving champions and stuff for special ammo. And then lastly, we have on Wind Chill. Rapid stasis weapon hits grants you stacks of frost armor. This is actually very broken with the new area denial grenade launcher, because all you have to do is shoot an enemy once with it, and you'll have maxed out frost armor. So I'm gonna shoot this robot, and then just look at the frost armor in the bottom left corner stack up. See, we got time 6. It would have been time 7, but I missed the shot a little bit. But that's how you can easily get maxed out frost armor without picking up shards. Just shoot this at the boss, which you're gonna be doing anyway, because you want to weaken them with weaken clear. Shoot at the boss, and you'll get max frost armor. Your frost armor always gonna be up without you even having to get stasis shards from the stasis crystals. And then the second part is very important too. Hits on slowed or frozen targets, we're gonna be doing non-stop. Create stasis shards. So this make even more stasis shards in the build for you to get them for melee energy, and again frost armor as well from your aspect. You can take this off and go like crystalline converter if you wanted to. Freaking I guess the thick of it. You could go for the other things, but it's not worth it. Wind Chill is the best thing here. Subclass. We're running Glacial Grenade, so we can break it whenever. Like I said, if we don't have melee charges on us, we can always throw this out there and then just break these crystals so that we get some shards on us, so we can pick them up and start our gameplay loop all over again. That's the only reason for the grenade. That's it. So it's a get out of jail free card in your pocket, especially when you start an activity and you only got one melee charge on you. This is how you get your 2 melee charges immediately, so then you can start your gameplay loop. We got on Titanic Harvest. This makes that picking up stasis shard, give us frost armor. We mainly only got this for the last part that says taking damage while you have frost armor, generate melee energy. That's the main reason we have it, just so we have very consistent melee charges on us non-stop, so we don't have to think about, do we have enough melee energy on us. But if you feel like you always got good melee energy on you, you can definitely change this to like a different aspect if you want to. You can go Cryochasm if you want another fragment slot. You can go Diamond Lance. if you just want your teammates to be able to pick up diamond lances so they can slim on the ground and get frost armor for themselves, you can do that if you want to. I would not say Tectonic Harvest is a necessity. The only necessity is Howl of the Storm. This is what allows you to get 2 melee charges and do the broken damage with the slide melee gameplay loop. This is literally what you will be doing nonstop. Okay, so yeah, that's the only main thing you really need for this build. Fragments, we have on Whisper Orion. This is how you get ×7 frost armor, so you get that 50% damage reduction. We have on Whisper Hunger. This is how you get that bonus melee energy from the stasis shards. We got on Whisper Conduction, so we don't have to worry about picking up stasis shards. They just come to us automatically. And then we have on Whisper Rending, so this allows our primary ammo to be able to break crystals easy and do more damage to frozen targets, aka Fighting Lion is able to do dumb damage to frozen targets and break crystals easy. Okay, I'll showcase to you guys. If I free this robot and shoot him in face, Fighting Lion, you see all that damage just happened right there. That robot dead. He don't even know it. He dead. He dead. Okay, he don't even know it. He dead. He don't know he dead because he's not really alive because he's a robot, but he dead. Okay, so that's all the fragments. Armor mods. We got on 2 super fonts, like I said. So our super is 200, so our super do dumb damage, okay? We got on Harmonic Siphon because we just had extra energy slot here. So our air denial grenade launcher, if you kill somebody, make it overpower for ourselves. We got on 2 grenade fonts, like I said, so we get our grenade back quicker for our get out your free card. Impact induction, so when he calls damage for our power melee, we get grenade energy back. We got our resist mods and chest piece. We got on elemental charge. This allows us to have maxed out armor charges non-stop because you get armor charges from picking up elemental pickups, and because of all the stasis shards we're gonna be making, you will have maxed out armor charges 24/7. We got on void weapon surge so that Fighting Lion do more damage. You can change this to stasis or whatever your heavy is if you want that to do more damage. Dealer's choice. And then we got better already, so pick up Overpowered. We start health regen since the artifact give us HP. It don't start health regen, okay? But this only there because we had an extra armor slot. You can put anything else here if you want to, but again, we don't care about our class. We don't care about our grenade energy. You could put melee energy here, but the shards give it back to you, so you don't need that either. So I just put better already there. We got on 2 class fonts just because. Just get that class stat up there if you do end up wanting to use your barricade. But it's not a necessity. You can put whatever you want here. The only thing that matters here is special finisher. So you make special ammo for yourself whenever you want, and to trigger X's down for that 30% damage reduction whenever you want. Now, if you don't understand the gameplay loop for this build, just showcase it real quick. You're probably wondering, if you're new to this, you're probably wondering, Alchemist, how is we doing melee damage if we just making crystals? When you do melee damage, when you break these crystals are considered melee damage. It's the reason why I just got Burning Fist stacks up there. Even though I didn't kill them for melee, the crystals are considered melee damage. And the crystals get increased damage as I keep getting more stacks of Burning Fist. It does not scale with your melee stat. I repeat, as you see, it did 349 instead of 200 something. It does not scale with your melee stat. I repeat, it does not scale with your melee stat. That's why we're going with 100 melee stat. It only goes up from One Guard Caress and Synthoceps, okay? But that's the gameplay loop. That's the broken stasis build that carry you through any in-game content. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Don't worry, there are more Titan builds on the way. New ones and some that you should know about already. So don't worry. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Until next time, stay up.